we'll look at that in a second. But taking a quick break before I hop back into compost. It's right behind you there. I've got a week's worth of my grass clippings I've got to incorporate um, into my 2 current piles I have. I may consolidate those and just start a fresh one. I'm not sure. We'll see once we get started. But anyways, yeah, it's kind of the big piece here is getting my compost piles squared away. I've already put, and before we get started, I'll take a quick little tour here. I did put one of my compost piles was mature, so I got thrown on the garden this morning first thing. I didn't go live for that because that's not really all. Long story short is it's just having the camera up, apply it on there is kind of tricky. So, but anyways, yeah. So it's just Saturday morning, and what time is it now? We got 8. Yeah, 8:40, 8:45, something like that. Got to start out here about 7, so that's not too bad. So with that, we've got all this compost, but we're going to start actually in my backyard. I've got my starting on my flower beds. It's a new property, so we have a basically just grass in the back with a couple trees that now I'm going to be going through and pulling out, basically taking all the sod off and start on my flower beds. I've got all the seeds inside for the perennials that I'm going to be planting there. So this year is going to look, by the end of the year, it'll be mostly put together, but obviously for the first month, 2 months here of summer, it's going to be kind of meh. That's all right. A lot of work we're doing here is, for long-term stuff. It doesn't need to be, instant gratification. The big part of this is just, as we've been setting up this property, knowing that we're going to be here for a long time. So we're not paying a bunch of money for all the perennials that are already been, they've got a year under their belt. I'm just switching over to, there we go. Yeah, sorry about that. That's I was on the wrong Wi-Fi channel. I'm on the wrong side of the house. I have two different Wi-Fi's that I use depending on, and for broadcasting out here, I gotta be on the right channel. But anyways, yeah, just taking a quick little break to get started here, and then we're gonna hop on the compost here. Once we get this going, give a tour of the garden again, and then we'll get to work on the backyard. So that's what we're doing today. Great day out though. It is gorgeous out here. I mean, we're probably sitting at about 60 degrees right now. It's June 1st, sunshine, very little wind, and then later today we've got some storms moving in. May get some rain, so that'll be good. That'll be good. Yeah, this is the part of gardening that is the maintenance phase, which is always, it's not as much fun as the getting things started in the greenhouse and then moving into getting the garden set up and all that work. Now it's the the maintenance phase, daily spending time in the garden, keeping up with those things. It just is what it is. Not too bad. But yeah, no, we're gonna get started on here. It's good stuff. Like I said, I just need a little break there before we get onto this compost. I already had kind of a busy day taking care of a million things. So I've been burning off some extra brush that I had as well too. So I'll be composting and smoke a little bit, but that is what it is. I guess I could, we'll let it keep going. But anyways, once we get on the compost here, hello, welcome. Yeah, but once we get on the compost here, we'll go take a look at the garden and give you guys a quick little tour of that as well too. No, so I just need my little bit of caffeine to get me going here. Like it's that first, it's like with anything. I think that's one thing that vast majority of people who've never worked like in nice to meet you too. Thanks for swinging by. Is this your first time on the stream? Must be. Say nice to meet me. My name is Ryan. I go live and do basically garden work in and around my property and come live for that. So glad to have you on stream here and kind of see stuff I got going. All right. See if I don't get smoked out here or not. It's gonna be one of those days. Let's see. Yeah, I think it'll be all right. Let me just raise it up though. Sorry, I'm getting all up in your face here. Just trying to make sure it gets. Yeah, it'll work there. Okay, so just cleared out this this compost pile. This made it out in the garden. We'll look at that in a little while. So I need to get this compost pile needs to be turned and have some stuff incorporated. Oh, so what I'm doing is, what I have here are my compost piles for my garden. Here, right, garden scraps. I've got some basically beet radish greens, and then we're mixing them in with brown matter with our leaves and other stuff. And when it's done, and when it's finished, after about a month and a half, it looks like this. And we take that and put it in my yard. It's just a way that I can take care of, because you can see here, this is just this mound. You know, it's pretty significant. That's just one mowing on my property. I've got like a half-acre property here. And so I use this grass as the main component for my my compost. Mix all that in, so that way I'm not, you know, basically it's not sitting in a landfill. I'd rather have it cut up, composted, and back in my garden. So let me get this. Yeah, but absolutely. So where are you at? Yeah, where you watching from? Just curious. We're here in northern Michigan. You know, it's a beautiful, beautiful summer day here. Super happy about it. Get this up over here so I can kind of walk you guys how to manage compost piles. That's kind of today's thing. All right, so we're going to start with this one. Yeah, I'll start here. I think it's probably the best spot. I'm just going to back you up just a little bit further here so you guys can see all the action. Trying to find a spot here that that'll probably work. All right. And again, this one here is, you can see this one's kind of just is about halfway there. You see, you can still see a lot of the individual components, but it's starting to break down. That's a good sign. Now that's what we want to see. I'm gonna get this guy aired out a little bit too. All right. Thank you. So, yeah, but I come live on, come live on YouTube pretty often. It's the last 2 weeks I haven't been able to get on as much as I'd like. I've had a lot of client work. I've been traveling for work, so it's nice. I'm kind of nice little lull period for my work here, at least for this weekend with my clients, which is nice. You'll need a little break. I have been knee deep in client work for, oh gosh, yeah, saying it's a good problem to have. I'm busy, but I want to be doing that. I like coming here. I miss coming on the street, hanging out with folks, you know. But yeah, today's a compost turning day, compost starting day. Like I said, I've got a full week's worth of grass clippings that I got to get incorporated. I just haven't had time to come over here and get started on it, which is fine. That happens. But like I said, I do like to go live when I'm doing compost, because a lot of folks who want to start composting, I don't think they don't realize how much work actually goes into it. But the benefit is definitely, the juice is worth the squeeze. I'll say that much. If you can, if you've got the garden for it and you've got the space, because like I said, I've got 5 or 4, well, technically 5 corrals here for compost. One of them is just for holding leaves and other brown matter, but my goal basically throughout the summer is to cover my entire garden 3 times with compost throughout the year. Just continue to add into it. Again, because what I'm looking to do is build up additional organic matter in my compost. And I'll walk you guys through kind of the process here too, and I got some good examples of why you turn your compost as well. One of the reasons we turn our compost consistently is this is a mat. That's what it's called. So what this is you've got these layers that are built up that it doesn't allow any oxygen in there. So you end up with anaerobic bacteria that get in here, and they're not the type you want. You want the aerobic, lots of oxygen. You got to keep turning it to get the oxygen in there and kill off the anaerobic bacteria and give a space for your aerobic bacteria to thrive. You know, it's just one of the things you have to do. And fortunately, once the anaerobic bacteria get in there, it's a lot of work to break them up, but it is what it is. But you know, it's just those little things keep things rolling. Composting is, you know, as I was saying, it keeps all this waste from basically ending up in a landfill. When I could be doing what I'm doing with it here, setting it up so it could basically put all this plant material back into my garden, right into the food that I'm growing. So that's definitely a thing to keep in mind. But big piece here is when you're going through, you'll see where I'm shaking it out every time that I'm putting it back into a space. So I'm just trying to break and get, you know, oxygen back into it. So put this over here a little bit so you guys can see this piece. Probably from this angle might be a little bit better for you. Let's see. Yeah. Kind of hard with the, you know, for the shorts version, but we'll make it work. So I wanted to get this first bit out. So what I'm doing is I'm moving this pile over into this section, and I'm going to be adding green material plus some more brown material in. This one got started. I'm just going to pump in a whole bunch more nitrogen and brown matter into it, along with some water, and then kickstart the process again. One of the things that'll happen too is when you reincorporate, again, I've got compost that's, you know, at the midpoint here. When I drop in more nitrogen, which would be the grass clippings plus the carbon, into a bacteria pile that's already going, this thing's going to heat up to 150 without even any sort of issue whatsoever. And that's one of the goals here is, he's out this morning already when I'm setting it up, but you know, I'm going to have a thermometer in this thing. And I mean, just right now, I just pulled it out, but it's been cooling off. Let's see where it's at for a minute. Let's go right there. So I'll let that go do its thing for a little bit there. But this morning when I pulled it off, this had a chance to cool off because I've already kind of opened up the casing on it. But in just kind of hard to see here, but it's been cooling off and it's been at 100 degrees. You know, it's been uncovered now for an hour and a half and it's still at 100 degrees. So once we get this incorporated with some more grass and stuff, and break these things up, it's going to be going. So let's go ahead and let's sprinkle some more nitrogen. Now the goal that you're going with this here, just to make sure, remind everybody, is you want to have, you know, 15 to 1. There's variations, 15 or 30 to 1, but I go with 15 to 1 brown matter to green matter, and obviously with the water. But don't sweat it too much. You just want to make sure you have a ton of brown matter in there. And that can be anything from, you know, I use leaves. Leaves and cardboard are the main things that I use, because we always have a lot of Amazon packages. But I have a ton of leaves right now from my neighbor, who was kind enough to give me all of her leaves last year. I think I actually helped her out, but you know, she said I could have them. So I went and collected them all up. She's got a couple big monster trees that just dumped a ton of leaves on there. So that's a good news story. All right. Put you in here. I'll break that up a little bit. So yeah, this is about this is what it looks like basically doing. Get this guy off here. Read that. Get this stuff rolling. Sorry, just grabbing leaves, folks. It's the other thing that your brown matter will do when it's in there as well. It provides the structure as well. You'll see it because of the carbon in there. It makes a nice little structure piece, and it allows for air gaps and things to allow your air to be in there. Because what you don't want is your compost being compressed. It's got to be loose. It's got to be, it should be, for the most part. I hate to use the word, but fluffy. As it's doing its thing. Yes, it's not going to be technically fluffy, but you want air pockets in it. That's a big piece of what all the leaves and the carbon aspect of it does as well. It doesn't let all that grass become matted in your other green matter. And then the goal with this, and this I'll tell you, is you want to have basically compost lasagna, which is just make a bunch of layers with your stuff. So you go, brown matter, green matter, and just stack them on top of each other. And then just make sure you're adding water to the mix, which we will here in a second. My biggest thing, I want to try to break some of this up, because I do have some leaves that are making some mats here, which I don't want. But, that's kind of where we're at today, though, is just no rush today. I got all day basically just to work in the yard and do things. And the other piece you'll hear from me, if you're on this channel, if you haven't been here before, welcome. But the main thing we don't do on this channel is worry. We don't worry about stuff. I've had compost piles that I did absolutely perfect. I know I did. And for whatever reason, it didn't want to play along and play nice. So I had to start over. And it's easy when your compost pile isn't, like I say, it doesn't warm up or it doesn't kick off, it's fine. Perfectly fine. Just pull it out and turn it over. Now with this, I have well water. One thing just keep in mind, if you're using city water that's chlorinated, it's basically going to slow down your basically the process of your pile heating up. So if you can, talked about it before, maybe even just fill up a couple 5-gallon buckets of water before you're going to be doing your compost, or use rainwater, because that chlorine does get in there. It won't kill it off, but it does slow down the process of getting your stuff started. All right. My little toss there. I'll give you guys a look just to kind of see what I'm, kind of the mix I'm going for here, because this looks just about right. So what we're looking for on our piles here is something like that. You see, you got green mixed up with the brown and their structure. That's going to end up turning into like that. So that's the goal here, folks. But again, if it's just your first time on the stream, welcome. Good to have you on. Again, feel free to subscribe. I go live. Obviously last 2 weeks have been a little rough just with client work, having my schedule, but feel free to subscribe. I go live all the time. Hit the notification bell, and you can see the stuff I'm doing around the homestead. Between today's a compost and landscaping day. Did a little garden work. I got a little bit I got to do in there before we start on the backyard for the flower beds. But that's what it looks like, folks. I'm glad to have you on here. Love to know where you guys are at too. Where you're watching from. It's always interesting to see, learn where people are at, and what you guys have in your garden, what you're working on. And as always, if you see me you got a question, please ask. Don't worry about it. That's what I'm here for. Or if you got, just want to add a comment or something, by all means do. It's on here so we can chat. But this is what today's gonna look like. Just kind of getting this rolling. And I got basically one section of my grass clippings I couldn't get to. They've been out here for almost a week, and they've already started with the anaerobic bacteria getting in there. So it's gonna be a little pain to get those incorporated, but you know, is what it is. We'll make it work. No worries. Like I said, we don't worry on this stream. Now, the compost that I build, my wife and I, we save all of our, basically food waste throughout the year. Try not to have any, but you're gonna have stuff, and just make sure that gets. We just put it out here even through the winter, which is fine because it doesn't rot or anything. It just freezes, and so that kind of gets me a head start on the year. So I've already put, oh gosh, three full basically bins of compost out on my garden already this year. And a lot of that was simply just because we had food scraps in, sitting out here waiting for it to get warm enough to get going. I'm not one of those guys that keeps a compost pile fired throughout the winter. I'll let I don't mind our little compost buddies. Get that in there. Little compost buddies, let them kind of hibernate over the winter. It doesn't hurt them any to have to do that. All right. And so, the way I'm kind of doing this here is I'm making sure, do my best to make sure that the stuff that was on the bottom of the pile is at the top, and the stuff that was in the middle was on the outside. That's just kind of the way you want to do it. And again, because there's areas of this with this compost that will do better. And this is, again, just to show y'all, this is why we basically rotate and flip over our compost. We turn it because you get this setting up, these mats. I don't know if you guys can see those little white spots in there. That is anaerobic bacteria mats that they're setting. We don't want that because there's no oxygen that can get in because of those mats. That's no bueno. We don't like that. So we're going to turn this pile over and make sure that we're getting a ton of oxygen in there to help and kill off those anaerobic bacteria. See, I got my old corn stalks in there. Let's take a look at them, see what's going on with them. It's actually one of my favorite things is we're getting here, get to kind of see the bacterial action too. You guys can see that. Here's what its normal color should be. All that bacteria getting on there, chomping away at it. Good stuff. That's what we like to see. Chomping it up. All right. We are going to continue just to keep mixing this up. All right, so there's that guy. A little spray of water. All right, we'll get at it again. Hope everybody's having a good Saturday. This is hands down, this is a great set. Man, this is like perfect Saturday right now. Perfect Saturday. We have got, it's 65 degrees out right now. Just a little bit of wind. A little bit, sun's out, but it's a little bit hazy. Can't beat it. Just a great day. Hopefully everybody else is having or had an equally great day today. That's my hope. Get you guys in here. Get some brown matter and repeat. So let's see. In the garden, my beets are up. My mom came and got all of her beets yesterday. Not beets, good Lord, radishes. Got her radishes. And so that gives me a spot where I'm gonna be popping down some more lettuce. And I do lettuce. I start lettuce pretty much every week. I have a new lettuce that's constantly going into the pile or into the garden. So that way we have fresh lettuce, throughout the year for me and Mama. All right, go. There we go. This guy toss. There we go. Get this stuff in there. Yeah, most of today is going to be in the backyard working on my flower beds, getting those set up. I've got a whole bunch of perennial seeds get started, but first things first, I got to prep the beds, get them going, get them all squared away. Those beds also, when I go into we go into the fall next year, everything's getting cut back, or just going dormant, they're going to get basically 3 of these bins of my compost that I work on are going to go on my flower beds this year. So, it's just kind of the way I look at this. Look at my responsibility here is not putting more stuff into the, keeping all this green stuff out of the landfills as much as possible. Like, that's the idea. But it also is pretty cool because it's basically free, free fertilizer. It's got labor attached to it, but it's also really good for all the plants. You get all this deliciousness. Like I said, all my corn stalks here from last year, just kind of break them up and throw them in. They break down over time pretty quickly. I mean, these have only been in the compost here for 2 weeks, and they're already starting to, basically, you can see they're getting in there already and start breaking them up. So by the time I need these in a month, these guys should be pretty well broken down. Yeah, it's already getting basically wet noodle action there. Okay. So the next bit here is I gotta clear off this area. Okay, then I gotta pull this guy out. Come here. I'll toss you over there. I gotta get my I kind of got this built up over here. I have to get my pallet in place to cover this up. But this is I absolutely love this stuff, though. It doesn't get much better than this. To do stuff like this for on the homestead. There we go. Perfect. So now, the toughest part here is going to be basically just making sure it all goes over the top there, and old man that I am, lifting this stuff up. And then we'll just be mixing it inside of here a little bit. Let me pre-mix some too. But hopefully everybody's having a good day. Hopefully I'd love to hear about your gardens or anything you have going on in there. There's a lot of us out here, just doing our gardening thing, and it is, I would say it's and I don't mean this the boring time of the year, but we're in maintenance phase at this point. All the work that we did over the last, I started in February. The last 4 months were to get to this point to where it's like, okay, now we just got to let the plants do what they do and just help them out where we can. Try not to get too much in the way, All right. Cool. But doing pretty good so far. And again, this normally takes, so for me, when I'm doing my compost piles, just FYI, if you've never done them before, each one takes about 30 to 45 minutes to do. If you do it, just take, if you're taking your time and making sure you're incorporating everything, looking at your water levels, those things. So I'm going to leave this last bit here. So I want some. So I'm leaving the last bit that I have in here, this first bin, because when I start my next pile, move it over here. I want fresh, basically compost. Those compost bacteria that are good, have them already there to get started. So this guy gets soaking. Cool. All right, let's get on to our next bit here. Measure some of this off here. Just going to mix my brown and green matter in ahead of time. One more scoop here. Cool. Now, when you do your compost correctly, like when you've got it done right, and you're doing it right, it shouldn't stink. Like that's kind of when it smells bad, that's when it's the anaerobic bacteria that are in there. They're the one that smells bad. Compost that's it's got the aerobic bacteria doing its thing. It smells good. It smells like the forest. It's got that loamy smell to it. That's what you want. Like I said there, I'm just mixing this stuff and leveling everything off. Get in there, you. There we go. And just, kind of pre-mixing, tossing some stuff in there. Get some more brown in there. There we go. Okay, we're just going to get some of this compost that's already been working in there. Big chunks of this in here. Oh, what is that? Oh, those are leaves. Okay. Yeah, so really just getting the compost, kind of this stuff that was at the bottom. If you remember when we were doing this, I got the stuff in the bottom of the top, and now I got and there's stuff on the tops on the bottom. Now we're getting the bottom on top, which is what you want. Okay, so I got room for plenty more. So I only have a few scoops left of the old the compost from that first pile here, which is fine, which is good. Now we just need more leaves. There we go. Now I do have folks that in the area that do leaf mold. They collect the leaves and let them do their different type of composting that they do with the mold. So I'm just not one of those people. I need the brown matter because of how much grass clippings I have, which I have a bunch. So I need to make sure that I have stuff to incorporate with my grass clippings. Get you out of here. And for this, just FYI, what I'm looking for, like when this pile will be full, it's, you know, I'm going to actually have it well over the top of the, where the pallets are here. Like that will be what I consider to be full. This thing will shrink by about 60% in a week, just due to compressing, but also the bacteria doing what they're doing. Now they're eating and multiplying. It takes up a lot of this material. All right, we'll scoop it here. All right, more brown matter. Yeah, after this one, we're going to take a break and just do a little garden tour. I think that'll be fun. Again, I got to kind of break this up a little bit. If I try to do too much at once, I'm going to do too much of this too often. Like this one movement, my back will shred on me. So we'll go for a little walk here in a little bit and check out the, check everything out. So again, just trying to incorporate some of these leaves and the compost all in together. Make sure everything's as loose as possible here. Again, we want, goal here is to make sure that there's enough structure in here, along with the carbon and nitrogen levels being correct, best of your ability. But we want to make sure there's structure so air can get in this pile. Super important. No air in a pile means bad compost. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. But yeah, no, today, I was in Maine for work this week. Like some client work, which was nice. Gorgeous to see. I always love, it's in Portland, Maine, in Brunswick, where I'm at. That place is getting big. I mean, there's a lot of people moving into that area. It's pretty wild. The infrastructure's not there for the number of people that are moving in, so it's definitely turning into a challenge as far as living there for folks. But they have a lot of people that are, it's good. There's good and bad with it. We know. Good thing, which I did miss, was obviously the food options. Those were great. I'm here in northern Michigan. We don't have a lot of food options per se, which is, a little frustrating, but we trade. We trade, solid, basically a little bit more solitude and goodness for, for options. There's not many of us here, a lot of space. So there's goodness there. Break that guy up. Big chunk of leaves just kind of hanging there. All right, it's starting to get heavy enough to push. Let me get a brace on here. Just a little guy for now. There you go. Whew. Now, definitely get warm enough. That's why I need to take a break on this here in a while. Or get these next two piles going. Actually, it'll end up being Probably one pile. Whew. But we'll still a closer for y'all here. Get a better look at this here. All the cool action happening here. Right there. There you go. That's better. But yeah, it's today's just going to be busy. I wanted to get this stuff kind of done with now. Before it gets too warm out here. I think we're supposed to be in the high 70s today. I'm going to layer this off a little bit. There, let me get some water on this. All right, good amount of water on there. Keep it rolling. So, and welcome to the stream, everybody. My name is Ryan. Just working on a homestead today. Today is today's kind of a maintenance day for in the garden, and then for this stuff, and then we're building out flower beds in the backyard. Starting, it's gonna be fun getting that going. All that is going to be basically pulling out a ton of stuff and getting the overall shape set up, and then hopefully basically get everything planted. Now I got some perennial seeds. I didn't really want to spend all the money. I have a pretty decent sized backyard that's fenced in. I didn't really want to spend the money on mature perennials, just to get everything going right this year. I mean, it would have been close to probably 10 grand worth of plants. So instead, I got, a whole bunch of seeds. And this year will just be, them getting set up, knowing next year the backyard's going to look phenomenal with all those new perennials in the ground. Let me get some more leaves here. But yeah, this is and it's cool. I did all my research in a book. I call it basically Midwest landscaping ideas, or how to do it. They give ideas for the front, which works well on the side, but they had a whole section on backyards, specifically on basically fences like I have. So they have a whole thing of them, which is pretty cool. So we're going to be, I'm just going to be using that as my guide when I start putting seeds. So they had 14, 15 different plant types that they recommend that work well, and they even show you how to lay them out, so that the heights are all the right area. So I just went on Amazon and ordered all the seeds for them. That was kind of the thing. Worked out pretty well. All right, we're going to get some more grass and some more stuff here. Like I said, I'm going to load this thing sky high this time. I have enough stuff in here to load it up. So we are going to one more thing of leaves. There's one thing I see people getting, they get worked up about, or they get concerned with making sure that their ratios on their brown to green matters right. That's not anything you should be concerned about. I mean, yes, you need to keep it in mind, and yes, you should be, doing your best to stick to the 15-to-1 ratio of brown matter to green matter, but don't lose sleep over it. Got to remember, even in this stuff right here, this grass seeds or grass clippings, there's a lot of carbon in there. So don't worry about it too much. A few more leaves in there. All right. It's awesome. Awesome sauce. Making one hell of a dent here in the old leaf pile. All right, let's get some water on this. Get a little bit more on here. Gonna fill up this one side a little bit better. Woo-wee, garden time. All right, here we go. Man, what a day. Nice and broken up here. Everybody incorporated. But it loosened up. Cool. All right. So we have one full bin of compost in works. Hooray for us. Good job, everybody. We got there. So again, welcome to the stream here. We're composting today. I'll let you see what I'm working on here. The compost good and hydrated. Awesome. All right. Now, let's start on my next one here. Actually, I'm gonna go a little walk first. I'm gonna grab my coffee. Take a little break. We're gonna go check out the garden. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do today. So we'll flip around here. You can see, got my corn. My corns are coming up. So good news story there. In there. No sunflowers up yet. Only a couple. If they don't come up in the next week, have to look at this. Check out all of my chamomiles. Look at these guys. How pretty are they? And I have chamomile tea every night, so it's been kind of nice having them around here. My Brussels sprouts here have all basically gone. They flowered and they've gone to seed now. They got their little pods are doing their thing there. Still got some other things, but nothing wrong there. Let's see, I even looked today. So I've got my butternut squashes coming up good. I can see one spot right there, that tiny little nubbin right there. That guy, you can see another one right there. These are my bottle squash that I had somebody recommend I grow, so I'm doing that. See, morning's compost action. Got my compost out here. You can tell it's mine because it's got chicken eggs in it, eggshells. Oh, this is something cool too. Check this out. Love this time of year. Literally time. My thyme is doing its thing. Nice and flowery. Oregano's coming in good. Peas are doing their stuff. Compost looks good here. All my tomatoes. They're gonna be happy now that they got this compost in there. I got a few tomatoes already popping up. Not bad for January or June 1st. Have a few up already. That's good. Then I've got my it's my summer squash, my zucchini. They yellowed on the leaves because we had we had a near frost earlier this week. You can see the same thing with the cucumbers here, where they're at. And we're already them starting to flower, which is a good news story. And they're just going to make their way right up this trellis, and it'll be awesome. All right. Got my next round of lettuce to go in. You can see here, I've got my, what is this? Cauliflower. And then, no, Swiss chard, kale. You can see my lettuce. You can see I've already gotten in here, munched some off. You just chop it off, and you get more that comes in right after it, which is great. So this is seed lettuce over here, and that's just a butter lettuce that's on that side. And I've got to come clear that area out today. Got some cauliflower right here doing its thing, so always cool. Love it. And got my first pumpkin coming up there. So all in all, doing pretty well here. And I've got a few of my beans are up there. I've got some bush beans. I have no idea if they're all going to come up or not because they didn't do well. They started coming well if they're going to do well because they started coming up right when that cold snap hit. So not sure how they're going to do with that. All right, well, let me get on this here. Back to it. Got more choring to do. Don't get to stop now. All right, here we go. Next bit here. So the next piece here is I'm going to move. I've got on that corrals 3 and 4. I'm going to move over here to I'm going to move over here to corral 1. So that way I can just kind of pile these guys right up here, and then leave that open. But also because I need to make sure that they get broken up really well, because one of them on the far side has the grass from earlier this week that did not get frankly, it didn't get incorporated in time, so it's in pretty bad shape. It's pretty gross looking, so I've got to make sure I aerate the crap out of it. All right. Yeah, this is the life here. We're having basically having a homestead and maintaining it. Saturdays are for choring. That's what you do. All right. So you can see though on this one, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty decent for the most part. No real concerns there. But I do want to get this stuff. Make sure we're getting this stuff mixed up as much as I can. Bring in some grass with it. Mix the grass right up in and with the compost that's already here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting started on the on those flower beds. That's going to be like a multi-week project to get that done. That's just a lot that has to happen. So definitely want to make sure I'm keeping get started on that. So, it's a ton of effort for the first, the first 80% of it is basically just ripping grass out of the ground. There's a lot that goes, So let's take a look at this. Pulling the stuff out here. Now this overall looks pretty good. I really like this. So we're getting some good bacterial action there. It's too dry though. That's the one thing I'm looking at this. This definitely needs more water. You just kind of tell by looking at it. I feel like it should be moist, but no water dripping out of it. And it's, I wouldn't say it's moist. That's kind of my official doctoring on that. It's, definitely needs more water. So we'll just be breaking this stuff up as we're going. Get some grass to it. Now I'm saving the grass from earlier this week that's already been kind of gross. I'm putting that all over on the top because I want to make sure that doesn't get compressed. That's full of oxygen, and it's got a good mix of leaves and everything in it. So like that's priority numero uno. Man, this was compressed. Got to break all this up. This is a lot of leaves in this. That's why I'm not adding as many leaves in. Oh wow. Wow. Yeah, this is good. This is good though. You can see, you can go back to this. Just how good that looks. And it's going and eating up corn. But it's having a field day in there. It smells really good too. So this is a healthy pile. Just needs more water. It's more nitrogen in it. A little too leafy for my taste. So we're gonna definitely be helping that out with giving it some nitrogen here. Water. Maybe mix it in right now. Good mix. But here's the thing: when you're doing your compost, just remember, take your time. Don't rush it. It's the thing about rushing through these garden tasks like this. You're gonna have to fix it one way. At some point, you're gonna have to do it right. So just do it right the first time. Take your time. And if you don't have time, like I didn't for my grass this week, just know that you're gonna have to spend the time later to get it set up. So that's what we're doing here today. At least part of today. Let's give this guy some water. He'd be thirsty. So again, making sure you have plenty of water on your compost piles is extremely important. Super important. The bacteria, they need the water as a medium to be able to live their lives and basically reproduce and multiply. You need to make sure that there's plenty of water in these systems in here. Help them do their thing. We do the brown, the carbon and nitrogen, right? That mixture, that is what the bacteria love. They love that mixture. It's just like delicious to them. Their steakhouse. We'll take that down. Okay. Oh yeah, this was way too dry. Way too dry. But we got some really good bacteria in here, so that's a good sign. So it got started and it had to pause in areas. Other areas it's still going. I can see the heat just rising out of it. The vast majority of it looks like it went dormant. which is fine because we are going to be turning our compost anyways. Give you some more water right now. All right. Yeah, today is one of those days that when I was in the military, I was dreaming of stuff like this. Just be able to have my own place to be able to, you know, that's work the land, not trying to be all like poetic about it or anything, but I just got my own property. You know, I have a decent outside job where if I don't want to work on, where Saturdays are mine, I'm not on call. Sundays are, you know, Sundays are mine to do with what I want. You know, it's just nice to be able to, the military was really good to me, don't get me wrong. It provides for me and my family still to this day with my retirement check. But I just didn't like being on call all the time and never really having a chance to turn off, you know. What I found was, I first got out of the military, I navigated towards positions and jobs where I was on call, where I was needed all the time, stuff like that, because that's what I was used to. And, you know, it wears on a person after a while. So it's good just to, so I made conscious decisions to, no, this is what I want to do with my time. And found a way to make that be, you know, come to fruition through work. So again, working here, we're on our second compost pile. Again, if you just joined in, I'm Ryan. Thanks for joining the stream here. I come live all the time. Yeah, today's Saturday, and we're just taking care of our compost piles here. I've got a week's worth of grass clippings that we're working through, and you know, just making it happen. On this one, there's just so much. I can just see I've got so much brown matter in here. I don't need to add much in the way of carbon into this one. It's a lot of leaves in here, so probably not going to add any. I'm probably just going to throw straight grass into this thing. Yeah, it looks like it wanted to get started, but you can also tell obviously it didn't. One of the reasons it didn't, it looks like it may not add enough nitrogen in here, which if I remember correctly, that was the case. I wanted to increase, that's right. So when I did this one 2 weeks ago, I wanted to increase the amount of leaves in there to see what that looked like, and how that performed. And lo and behold, not too well. I mean, it got started and it looks good, but like I said, there wasn't enough. You can just tell there wasn't enough nitrogen for everything you need to get going. Let me clear this off here. I'm bringing a pallet over. All right, let's get some water on this guy. All right, so we got that part set up. Now we're just get that out of there. Mix this up a little better too. Cool. All right, more of this guy. Man, today, what a day. So I should be getting any day now my mask, like protective mask kit for woodworking from BC Masks. They asked me to do a video using their product, which I thought was pretty cool. Most definitely want to be doing that. Oh, and then I did yesterday. I'm going to do a video, and I got pretty much all the stuff I need. May record the video again, but I got a lawnmower lift, little modular one that should break it out when I need to work on the mower deck. Yeah, basically just stored it up in the rafters of my shed. Just pull it down when I need it. Pull it up basically to sharpen up blades, stuff like that. Because I'll tell you, so I hit a branch. I say by mistake, but I saw I was getting ready to run over. I didn't turn away from it, and it broke my both of my blades. Pretty bad. So I had to go get those new ones there, get those replaced. So it was, it was good to get through and be able to do that work yesterday, as far as getting that all squared away. All right, so we're going to pre-mix all this stuff going forward. Right now, I got to get this in here, break it up. Whew. You can see the bacteria on here is doing great. So we definitely have it set up correctly. You can tell with the leaves, we're getting a nice setup here. So I'm pretty happy with it. It's just too dry. So that's something I'm going to have to adjust here. Obviously, just by hitting more with the hose here in a second. Definitely tell it's too dry. Which, again, that slows down. If it's too dry, it's going to stop the bacterial, aerobic bacteria from being able to do what they need to do. Because they need the water as a medium to be able to get in there. So, but with this, adding all this nitrogen, I know they're going to be excited and get going. This is all sorts of good food for them. They're literally probably, I mean, whew. The amount of what they're going to have right now is going to be good. So anyways, we're just making our way along here, continuing with the compost lasagna, where we've got basically our green matter, so nitrogen, and our brown matter, which is our leaves. And make sure we're adding water. Got to have water to it. Super important that you have a ton of water when you are starting your piles or whenever you're turning them. The bacteria need a lot of water to be able to do what they do. So if you're not keeping the system hydrated, the bacteria, they do what they can and then they go dormant. All right, so let's get over here. Start get to mixing. I have to mix as much of this as I can in. And then we're gonna have to switch over to leaves. It's just, of course, that's why I have it there. All right, that should be enough for this. All right. Premix. We're gonna filling this guy up. Get in there, you. Whew. Glad I did this first thing this morning. That was the plan. Was to get this done first thing before it got too hot. You know, we might be 75 or 80 today in northern Michigan. That's pretty, that's pretty toasty to be out doing yard work for us. Although, I lived in Guam for a few years, and it was basically 6 o'clock in the morning. It was 80 degrees, 95 or 100% humidity. Stayed that way most of the day. Hop up to like 90, and it'd just be all you did was sweat. But we don't. I gotta get back into that. It's good for me though. Get the water weight off, especially when I travel, because it's not that I eat terribly, but there's more. The food. You kind of just put on water weight when you travel. No, there's science behind it somewhere. I just don't know what that science is. This is all dirt right through here. Okay. Let's get this guy in. All right, so I want to say the rest of the compost that I have, get this is soaking to be able to mix in with the stuff that's going on top here. Let's give this guy some water. It is really dry. Really dry. Hasn't been this dry for a while, but we're getting rain tonight, so that's going to help it out. Ooh-wee. Putting in some hours today. Ugh. Okay, so our next bit here, put this over here. This stuff, ugh, gross. Oh yeah, that's so not good. So not good. Oh, that stuff looks terrible. Slimy, gross, just nasty. Ugh. Is there cardboard under it? No. Guess we'll just do it in sections here. Kind of doing the nasty here with this. So yeah, this is just all of stuff I'm working on back here is all grass from earlier this week. But unfortunately, I just had to leave here. I just didn't have the time. My work schedule, I was working some pretty significant hours, traveling to get this done. So now I'm paying for it. Sure am. Oh, this is terrible. Hate seeing grass like this. And just see, you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about here. You can just see how it gets the matting going Oops. See how it gets that matting going? And you've got like this. How slimy that is? That is all slimy bacterial mat for anaerobic bacteria. That's the stuff we don't want in there. So just gotta be smart about it. Take our time and work it right. It'll be okay. Yeah, just basically what I'm doing is just doing my best to break it up as much as I can. That's all I really can do. And let the oxygen do its thing, kill off these the bad bacteria that are in here. And then I'm going to try to basically re-inoculate it with the good bacteria, with their aerobic bacteria. And place it up in here. Probably even gonna throw some more leaves in there just to be on the safe side. We're just gonna break this up the best I can. Bacteria are already in there doing their thing, but anything I can do to help them out, I want to. I mean, it is breaking it down, but it's not the compost that we want. The bacteria that are good in our soil, they're aerobic bacteria. That's why you want to have, compaction's a bad thing for your garden, for any of your soil. It needs to have air down there for them to do their thing. All right. Some more leaves in there. So, whew. Get you in there. Yeah, just kind of, unfortunately, this is the thing where one of the reasons I go live on this too for folks, just so they know how long it takes to actually do, compost. This isn't a short process, especially if you've got 2 days worth to do, or a week's worth of stuff like I do. It adds up quick. Okay. It's pretty loose, that's all right. This stuff here definitely isn't. Corn stalks are doing their thing though, which is good. I want to see. Whew. All right. Good old compost days. These are the best days. I get my workout in, that's for sure. My back lets me know that I've got my workout in for sure. That's the thing. All right, so let me pull you out. Here's you. Okay. Let's get this all out of here. We can get this mixed in with some stuff and we can get this over with. Oh, this is so bad. But yeah, so this is just that last bit I'm working on here. It's obviously not a little amount of work, it's a lot, but it's all part of the deal. Yep. Again, I'm just pre-mixing everything I can here. So that way I'm not basically mixing in the bin itself. What I want to do here is, again, like we've been saying from beginning of the stream here, I'm going to incorporate, mix up this brown and green matter as much as we can so we can have those air pockets in there, and so air and moisture can move around in here. All right, throw this guy in there. Come on now, don't be silly. Okay. Rest of the stuff we just pile on up in here. Man, hitting a wall here. Breakfast is wearing off. I'm going to go inside and get food here after this. Whew. I mean, we're coming on, I think, 2 hours of this at this point. All right, gotta get some water on this. Good mixture though. I see some spots that are kind of matted here, but nothing crazy. So get some water on it. Whew. Yeah, it's been good. This has been a hard work morning, I can say that much. But needed to be done. All right. It's the last bit now. It's cleanup time. We can finish. Go make some breakfast. Oh, come on now. Need some grass in it, or some leaves. So let's just break that up. That's some matting that we don't want here. Stuff that's no bueno. I'll take care of that. Best that we can. All right. Man. All right. So that is, okay, I gotta get this stuff up in there. Now it's basically just cleaning up this last bit, my mess. Now the leftovers here. These guys here. Okay. Let's got a little push here. There we go. This guy's basically full up. Just need these last couple scoops in. We'll be good. Been a day today, though, folks. You know, this is the reason that I always, when I can, and I always recommend it, do your composting of your items as soon as you can. So the only thing you don't want to really let pile up is your compost stuff. You know, try to do it. You know, you build up a pile of your until you have enough to do it, then get her done. But like in my case, I have enough to get a pile that's gonna ignite every time I mow here at my yard. Just because of the volume of grass that I clip. So in my world, I can't let it go more than one day, possibly, because you know this time, like I say, work required me to not be able to do this. But you know, I had to mow last night. I just left it for today because I knew I had to catch up on the stuff from earlier this week. That's where we're at. Get this stuff in there too. There we go. Woo. Give this a mix. And then we're just gonna do our last bit of work on it here, which is hydrating the pile. Now, I've been adding water the entire time as I've been going. The same with the next one, the other one next to it. However, you always add a bunch of water at the end, and the scientific measurement for how much water you want to add to your compost piles, which we'll take a look here. You can see we got them full up here. Is you want to add a ridiculous amount of water. That's the official scientific term for that. You want to have a ridiculous amount of water. Raise you guys up. Watch the water action here. And the reason is when the bacteria, the aerobic bacteria, which we've got in there now, they need water to be able to do their thing, right? To be able to eat, do their stuff. So what you want to do is soak the living crap out of the pile at the start, because they're gonna have a huge, the aerobic bacteria. I've just introduced all that nitrogen into the system, got all that carbon, and they're gonna need a ton of water to be able to basically get into that reproductive phase when they start doing that. And to do that, they're gonna burn off a lot of water, basically turning that carbon in the water into a carbohydrate that they eat, along with and then with the nitrogen that they need for their for energy. That's what happens. So with that, they need a ton of water. So like I said, we want a ridiculous amount of water. So I just try to pour as much of the stuff in here as I can, it makes sense. The thing to remember here is that this is going to it's going to be evaporating a ton too, although I do have a tarp that goes on top of it to keep the heat in. I've got along the side here, it's all pallets. Moisture is going to be wicking off of this thing like crazy. So that's another reason why we go through and we always turn our piles. So that way we can check moisture levels and rehydrate as necessary. So that way you're not slowing down the process. I'll show you over here. This pile, because it was due to be turned, which I did today. It got too dry, and you can see, like you can hear it. Like it shouldn't be crunchy like that, but you can see where the bacteria got started, and then they went dormant because there wasn't enough moisture. So that's why we hydrate. So they're in there, they're living their best life, and now they're getting rehydrated, and they're gonna get back to enjoying a delicious meal and turn this into compost. Like I said, and one of the things that people, when they're doing their compost, and I see it when they mess up on it, is that they don't have enough water. That's the one thing you don't want to have it uncovered and having water consistently leaching through it. That's not what you're going for. But it does need to be pretty damp when you start. It takes an awful lot to make the sugars that the bacteria need to eat when it comes to water. But yeah, and it's good. So with this though, I put out basically two of these worth this morning. Basically 2 bins, which was 1 full bin, because they end up dropping down by a little over half in size when they're finished on the garden today. So that'll be good. I'll for my tomatoes and put on my tomatoes, my zucchini, and my summer squash. They're going to be very happy. These 2 piles are going to be for my corn and my sunflowers. That's where this stuff will be going. Right on top of my wood chips that I have. So I have wood chips in my garden, and then I throw compost right over the top of it. Like I say, my goal is just basically to keep raising the overall depth of my my garden over the next, well, as long as I can. So that's what it looks like today. I think we did some good work here, folks. So we started with that bin, that. So make sure I got this right. That bin, that bin, that bin, all with half. and this one with a half. No, yeah, either way, yeah. And then we basically incorporated 2 days, or basically a full week's worth of yard clippings, which is, you know, pretty considerable on a half-acre property. Now we've got a spot here. See, we got this opening here. I got this opening here, but I still have tons of leaves and everything to go. So yeah, I mean, it's not the prettiest thing in the world. You know, that's why you always put your compost on the ugly the ugly part of your house. But yeah, all right. Well, hey, it's been a good stream today. Appreciate y'all, and I will. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get know when I come live on here. And I'll be live here in a little bit when I start working in the backyard. So take care, and I will see you in a little bit.